Hey guys, how's it going? Happy 4th of July. It is Mad Cat Moto, and this is my first YouTube full-length video. If you guys have seen some of my shorts, you know that I work on my motorcycle, and it was severely blown. So it's been a long process of building everything back and getting the bike to where it is now. I wanted to start getting better with content creation, so this is kind of me testing the waters with that, and hopefully it's something you like. Unfortunately, there is going to be zero motorcycle content filmed today because I'm still waiting on parts, but I wanted to hone some skills with content creation, so I figured I would do a vlog style video of me doing some carpentry stuff around the house this weekend. And if you like it, you know, give it a like, give me a subscribe, and check me out on TikTok. I post under Mad Cat Moto, just motorcycle stuff. And that's essentially what this channel is going to be, but like I said, just trying to hone some skills and test the waters. I got to run out in town and grab some stuff, so I'm going to take you along with me, and then we're going to get straight to the projects. All right, guys, we're at the first stop of the day. I have to go to 3 places. First place I got to stop, I got to grab some more cat food. And our cats eat prescription, medicated, dietary needed food, so it's not cheap. So this is going to be the most expensive stop of the day, hopefully, or else I'm really going to have to lock in and get like another job. So first stop, PetSmart. Then, because the way everything's set up and it kind of makes sense, I wanted to go to Home Depot, but Central Texas traffic is diabolical. So this road leads me straight to Lowe's. Go to Lowe's, pick up some 2x4s, and then I really didn't want to go to it on a holiday weekend, but I'm going to stop by Walmart and grab a couple other things, and then I'll be back home ready to actually get some work done. So let's get this done. All right, guys, so this is the scrap wood that I was able to pick up. It is part of a large pallet, and you can see it's really not in bad shape, honestly. So my plan is, where you can see over here, where I have my framing square, I'm going to outline a couple planks that I want to be the top of my table. Now, I have some other projects planned to build with this today, so we're gonna see how it goes. But I'm gonna make some lines and do some cuts, get everything kind of lined up the way I want it, do a quick sand, and then grab the lumber I have in the back of my truck to build the base. But I think I can get a pretty decent sized tabletop out of this. I mean, obviously, as you can see, it's pretty large. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that. Now, just do a quick mark on this side for as straight of a line as we can get. All right, as you can see here, I have the basic outline done. Hasn't been sanded down or anything. There are bits that are uneven, so I'm gonna try to adjust this. This top is gonna clean up pretty nice when I'm done with it. I went all the way around, built a little base. Now, I'm gonna clean this up and get the measurements for the height I want it. So, I'll tap back in a minute. And I filled in the holes where the screws were with some wood glue and tampered down a little bit of sawdust and topped them off with some wood glue again. I will come back through here when it dries, sand it down again, and then it's going to be ready for stain. So you can kind of see a color pattern here of where the sun baked in from the wood. I'm going to be able to color correct all that. So here we go. All right, so this is my little sanding setup, and hopefully it's not too loud. We got some brand new neighbors, and I don't want to be too rude for their first weekend here, but I have been here for a little while. I'm not saying that makes it right. I'm just saying everyone in the neighborhood knows
that I do projects all weekend, and I'm more than willing to help out with any projects that my neighbors have going on. So there is kind of that trade-off where, you know, they see me working, I let them know if I'm going to work when it's late, and I try to keep the noise to a minimum. And then I often do little projects for them, like build a bookshelf or help them with stuff. But I try to be respectful. So hopefully this old cheap sander I have that I got just to sand down a tank a couple years ago, so it's covered, you probably can't see it, but it's covered in like wet paint marks from wet sanding. I know you're not supposed to do it with an orbital, but hey, it was my motorcycle and I was ready to screw it up on my own. So I'm gonna go ahead, get this sanded down, and move on to measuring everything out for the legs to get the right height. So here we go. All right, so here's where I'm at. I'm waiting for the table to dry where I patched up all the screw holes so I can sand it down. It's gonna take a little bit for that filler epoxy to harden. So right here, I have the excess parts of this. I actually didn't use nearly as much as this as I thought I would on the table itself. So this right here, still have a couple projects that I can get out of this. Makes me really happy that I have that. But this piece of wood right here, something very special I'm gonna make out of this. So this Sunday is my cat Cosmo's 11th birthday. Now, we got Cosmo about 11 years ago in the parking lot of Walmart. He is terminally orange. If you have cats, you understand. Such a good guy. He is the most expensive thing that Walmart has ever sold, and we got him for free. So I am planning to make him and his siblings, but for his birthday, a nice scratching post. The idea is to take this, cut it down to about 1.5 feet, sand it real well, and then wrap it with some rope. So I read online, checked out like safe rope for scratching trees and posts for cats. Believe it or not, you actually do have to check that stuff, especially if you have cats that are like ours, where they all have such weird medical quirks that you can't take any risks. So planning to mark this out right now, cut it down to 1.5 feet, sand it, wrap it real tight with some rope, you know, put some safe epoxy underneath the rope, and then trying to find something that I can put on the top for them to sit on. Now the base, I'm just going to do a 4-way kind of like balancer for it. The plan is to wrap the whole thing in that rope so they can use the whole thing for scratching. So yeah, I'm going to dive into this. I've got, like I said in the beginning, quite a few projects I'm trying to get done this weekend, and it's only Friday. And I feel like me getting that much on the tabletop was pretty helpful already. It's an easy job, but you can see when I was sanding and everything, and I'm probably going to voice over it so you can see that. But it's not just to make it smooth. I don't have a lot of woodworking tools. I'm not a carpenter. For those of you that don't know, I'm active duty Army. So while I do work in system maintenance and I'm pretty mechanically inclined, I can get by with carpentry. So you'd see me using the sander there and not necessarily doing, you know, the SOP or the right thing. But for me, it's not just making it smooth, it's also I was shaping any imperfections in the wood. And so for me, even if you use a tool the wrong way and not a dangerous way to get the job done, you've used the right tool. So yeah, let's get started on this. Can't forget my iPro. Now I got these off the TikTok shop and I love them. And I wore them to work and my friend called me the fat Jeffrey Dahmer, and that is really, really funny to me. Hey, they're good. There's the 87 and side ballistic covers. So while they're not in uniform, they're pretty great, you know, so when I'm not wearing my safety squints, if I'm grinding something at work, I throw these on. They're kind of a vibe. So yeah. Anyway, let's get this cut. Could really use some nice seahorses. I know my brother got sent some really nice ones, a few of them. My brother does TikTok with his wife. They're both pretty successful at it. So he gets a lot of cool knickknacks. That's kind of the goal, be sponsored enough to get some cool tools to put to use. Obviously, the big goal would be sponsorship from Harbor Freight. I live 0.2 miles away from one. I'm there so often they call me Mr. Danny. I'm not even always buying stuff, just gonna go see what they have. I love it. But yeah, let's get this pretty smooth, measure out some rope, and get it wrapped. This is going to be the rope I'm using. It is that Cecil rope, safe for animals. Of course, to open it up, my U1 Ultra. I love these things. My brother is sponsored by them. They're pretty great. The O-Knife has the precision screwdriver on the back, and I use this thing all the time. I carry 2 box cutter blade styles with me every day. One for like, it's bigger, it's aggressive. And then this right here is for precision stuff. It's got no blade wobble. I actually really love it. I thought it was a gimmick, but you should definitely try out the O-Knife. This is a U1 Ultra. They're always running sales. They're on TikTok. Give them a look. They're definitely worth it. And they sell, like, you can put in ceramic blades. I'm not always big on ceramic. While they stay sharp, they break easy if you go at an angle at all. So this right here, this is kind of my preferred setup for a pocket knife, and it works really, really well. So go ahead and give O-Knife a checkout. And my brother sells them, usually posts whenever there's a discount at Normal Dad Life on TikTok. Give them a look. All right, so instead of going across the street, buying a stapler, or doing something to attach this rope in here, I decided to drill a hole right where there was an imperfection in this wood. I'm going to fill said hole with some non-toxic glue, anchor this in here so that I can start the wraparound port, and hopefully that holds. Everything I do is kind of a learning curve whenever I just try to do shit. So, you know, let's get some of this excess crap off. I don't really ever have a plan. I just kind of just go for it. And I think it's a great thing to have as a characteristic, in all honesty. If you worry too long about a plan on the small stuff, well, it's good to be prepared. You're gonna end up doubting yourself more than just going after things, you know? Even at work, I work on very expensive systems and very high importancy with them, and it's whenever there's a problem, if you wait too long instead of just going after it, you know, you're not winning. So just try things, and you'll surprise yourself with your own problem solving skills if you just give yourself a chance. I'm gonna wrap the rest of this up and kind of strength test it. So check back in a minute.
All right, so I got the base wrapped up, added a sturdy bottom to it, and then put an extra part on top so I can dangle the toy from it. But let's check on the table. You can see it still needs to dry, but I need to get in there and cook dinner, so I'm gonna start on that now and come back out to this in a minute. Seasoned up some burgers, real nice. It's a holiday weekend, so we threw them on the grill. And my wife has been doing a lot of pickling, so had some really nice homemade pickled onions and pickles on this little burger.
All right, so to kind of catch up on the process, table, good 99% done. Gonna let everything dry tonight, away from all the debris, and so tomorrow morning I can attach the legs. I wanted to get it done today, but I spent so long in town this morning that it kind of hindered my process, and it's getting late here, and I don't really want to, you know, be that neighbor that's running power tools when it's getting dark. The cat scratching post, the little cat tree, that actually, you know, is a good almost done too. Tomorrow I think I'm gonna run out and grab a metal mixing bowl and attach it to the top and then wrap it up in some of that leftover rope so that the cats have a place they can crawl up in and, you know, take a nap. I didn't get to a couple of things I wanted to do today, but it is Friday, so means I got all day tomorrow and Sunday and Monday. But I would like to do some relaxing this weekend. Haven't really spent too much time in the house. I do have some project planned for the inside of the house. But I think tomorrow morning, if I get a good and early start, by the afternoon I can just hang out. But right now, I'm gonna do some cooking, and then I'll show you guys the progress on the work I did get done today. So, you know, beggars can't be choosers. I'm lucky enough to have a country that gives me a 4-day weekend for its birthday, so I'm happy there. All right, so here is the finished product with the coffee table. I ended up putting the legs on in the morning after they dried, and it's pretty decent, honestly. Serves a purpose, and for free wood, really didn't come out that bad. Let me show you what I did with the cat tree. All right, so here is the finished scratching post / cat tree. I was originally going to put a platform on top for the cats to kind of climb on and chill, but Butters, our oldest, he's got arthritis, so I didn't want to make it something inaccessible for him. But see, I hung a little toy, and honestly, it came out pretty good. Everything on the base is pretty smoothed down, so no one's going to get any splinters, and it's pretty decent wood. The rope was actually kind of difficult to get such a tight wrap on everything. So you can tell I came over the front this way and then around so I could get the corners pretty well. But yeah, I think he's going to like it. Also going to do some boiled chicken for him on his birthday. But yep, those are the two finished products out of all the projects I wanted to accomplish the last 2 days.
Hey guys, if you're seeing this, thank you for watching all the way through. I do apologize that there was no motorcycle content in this video. That's not going to be the norm. I plan on filming mainly motorcycle content. That was the whole original purpose of making a YouTube channel for this. Was when I bought my bike, I was like, heck yeah, man. I'm gonna take some long rides. I live in Central Texas, so I was gonna ride up and around, go to the Grand Canyon. I was planning trips all the way back to New England, you know, if I got like summer block leave or something. And shortly after buying the bike, had the whole thing grenade on me. So, you know, my videos turned into riding to wrenching, and I do love working on my motorcycle, but I just wish it wasn't the only motorcycle I had. There was a time not too long ago where I didn't mind at all, you know, ripping a bike apart because I had another ride, but I'm not in that spot anymore. So, you know, you understand, it kind of sucks to, you know, be working on your only kind of toy or motorcycle or whatever when you don't have another one to ride when it gets stressful. But like I said, I do want to thank you for making it all the way to the end of this video. It means a lot to me. I hope you enjoyed some of the stuff. I know there was a lot of yapping, and I know people are going to point out my hands are shaking a lot. I do have tremors, so you can see it hasn't affected me in the 30 years I've been alive, but apparently it affects other people when they see it. So yeah, thanks for checking this out. Next videos are going to be about motorcycles and the process. I'm going to make a compilation of all the Instagram and TikTok posts I've made about the Road King so far and kind of combine them into a format for YouTube. But yeah, guys, if you are interested at all in following along, see more vlog content of chores and motorcycle work, I'd appreciate it if you hit the subscribe, and you can check me out, Mad Cat Moto, on Instagram and TikTok. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Have a good 4th.